Welcome into College Football Now by Chat Sports. You got Harrison Graham and Will Scott back at it for another week. Will, you were off last week. You're back this week, and we'll see when we hear from the College Football Playoff Committee. We are told we will not get those rankings until the conclusion of this Kentucky-Michigan State basketball game. So stay tuned. We'll have our mock rankings and chop up some college football with you guys.
Yeah, it should be a good time. We have 9.5 minutes left in that Kentucky-Michigan State game. So upon the conclusion of that game, we're going to get our rankings reveal here from the committee. Now, one top 10 team lost this past week. That was Oregon. So shouldn't have too much of a shakeup, but I think the big question we have is who's going to be ranked higher, LSU or USC?
I do think that's a question to watch. Is there a shakeup in the top four? We will see. We'll talk about all of that and more as we get you guys ready for tonight's top 25 rankings reveal. But in the meantime, get the chat going. Shout out your favorite college football team, who you're repping, who's your squad in the chat. Rashard Lee's an Ohio State fan. Geraldine is an LSU fan. Go Blue from Jordan Walters. By the way, our Michigan Football Report channel with James Yoder, our big Michigan booster here, is going to go live here in about 15 minutes. So if you're a Michigan fan, go check that out, youtube.com/MichiganTV. Old Man Camping says Michigan. Noah says Michigan. Coastal Carolina from Jeremy. I think the Shots will be ranked this week. They're 9-1. We'll see where they come in on my mock rankings. Mizzou Tigers. I'll tell you what, Mizzou's been scrappy this year, but not a lot of wins. Go Vols, baby, from Abram. Oklahoma from Dwayne. Not OU's year, but most years I've been doing this show, they've been right in the mix at this time of year. Utah from Geraldine. Man, Utah would love to have that Florida game back because they did, I think they'd be in the driver's seat to win the Pac-12 and potentially make the CFP. Roll Tide from Gold Wolf Mike. Go Nittany Lions from JH Sports. DM Will 1974 says LSU. So continue to shout out your favorite team, and we'll keep this puppy rolling. Who should be number 2? I think, Georgia's going to be 1. Nothing happened that would change that. Who do you guys think should be number 2? Do you think it should be Ohio State, Michigan, TCU, someone else, Tennessee perhaps? Let us know in the live chat. Will, if you were on the committee and you had your say, who would you rank number 2 behind Georgia right now?
For me, it'd be between Ohio State and TCU, but it'd probably be Ohio State. But it's close. You look at TCU's resume, they have some ranked wins, but that Ohio State win over Notre Dame looks pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And a couple weeks ago, we couldn't say that. And now Notre Dame's kind of finally kicked it into gear. They've won a couple straight. They're now a ranked win for the Buckeyes.
I'm always fascinated by what those conversations are among the committee, right? Because when Ohio State played Notre Dame, that was a totally different Notre Dame team.
Right.
So how do you measure that? It's kind of hard to tell. I would agree. I think I would have Ohio State 2. I think, that they've got a lethal passing game with C.J. Stroud. Their defense is much improved under Jim Knowles. A lot of Ohio State's in the chat. Gold Wolf Mike. Detroit Real says Michigan. We got Larson saying the Vols. Geraldine says Michigan. Cassandra says Ohio State. Jeremy says Michigan will flip with TCU for 3. Maybe. There's been some discussion that TCU goes into a ranked hostile environment in Austin, beats Texas on the road to get another ranked victory. Could that jump them to number 3? Perhaps. Zelvra says they have an incredible resume because Caleb said TCU doesn't belong top 5. So who would you put in the top 5? You take TCU out, Caleb. Who's 4 and 5? Tennessee, LSU? Is that where we're going there? Junior says Ohio State. Robert says TCU. Zelvra says Ohio State 2, TCU 3, Tennessee 4, Michigan 5. Johnny says Michigan. Vanderbilt, LOL. Hey, Vandy. They finally won an
Big
SEC
win
game
over Kentucky. Yeah, I think
fraudulent Kentucky, who was ranked last week.
Yeah, and I don't know how that's going to affect the Will Levis conversation here.
Man.
He lost to Vanderbilt, for crying out loud. I don't think we can call him Lord Levis, to be honest with you. But hey, I'm Lord Scott. You're Lord Graham. Am I right?
Why don't you tell us a little bit about Established Titles, our sponsor
absolutely.
tonight?
Well, if you can go to establishedtitles.com/chat and save an extra 10% on the perfect holiday gift. you can become a lord or lady today. Through established titles, they are preserving the Scottish woodlands over there in Eddleston, Scotland. I got an official plaque in the mail, and they're sponsoring today's show. It's a fun and novel way to preserve the natural woodlands of Scotland while helping global reforestation efforts. It's a project based on a historic Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lairds, lords, or ladies in English. Title pack's going to give you at least 1 square foot of dedicated land. We're flying over my land right now with unique plot number on a private estate in Eddleston, Scotland, and an official certificate with a crest. That is my official certificate. Pretty cool. We plant a tree with every order and work with global charities such as One Tree Planted and Trees for the Future to support global reforestation efforts. You could officially include the title Lord or Lady on your credit card, plane tickets, dating profiles. I got it on my Hinge account. The likes are going up. I can promise you that. It makes for a great last-minute gift. And look, with the holidays coming up, they have a massive Black Friday sale going on right now. You can save up to 80%. Plus, if you use promo code CHAT, you can get an additional 10% off on the perfect holiday gift. EstablishedTiles.com/chat. Go pick it up now. And the first 200 people to do that will get a plot of land right next to me and Lord Harrison Graham over here. EstablishedTiles.com/chat. Harry, I think it makes for maybe a great white elephant gift or something like that, a great gift to give friends and family.
That's what I think I'm going to do this year because I never know what to get at those things anyway, so I just end up doing like a boring gift card or something. This is way more exciting. You give away a gift where someone can become a lord or a lady by title. You're going to be the life of the party. You're already the life of the party, Will Scott, but
I appreciate that.
You show up with this gift at a white elephant, I mean, you might end up having a good night. That's all I'm going to say. EstablishedTitles.com/chat, promo code chat. We will be sure to get those links in the live chat for you guys. So just keep a reminder, the clock tonight, not a perfect science. It all depends on how long this Kentucky-Michigan State game goes. And if you know college basketball, these games can run long. So 8 minutes and change counting remaining. So we'll be live getting you guys ready for tonight's top 25 rankings from the committee. A lot of discussion points to get to. I think that's where we go next here, Will, is let's take a look at what happened last week. A lot of chalk for the most part. Georgia took care of business against Mississippi State. Ohio State and Michigan rolled in the Big Ten. I think we're clearly on a crash course there here in a couple of weeks in the Big Ten between Ohio State and Michigan. TCU goes on the road and beats Texas. That was kind of a fist fight, especially in the first half before the Horned Frogs pulled away late. Tennessee hammers Mizzou. Oregon goes down to Washington. First loss for the Ducks at Autzen Stadium in a while. They had won 23 in a row. I think that eliminates them pretty clearly now that they have 2 losses. LSU survived how would you describe that game? Just a classic SEC trap game where they just find a way to get it done?
Wasn't pretty, but LSU won the game. Arkansas was without KJ Jefferson, but how about Harold Perkins, man? I mean, he's already one of the best players in the sport as a true freshman.
He's so good.
Originally committed to Texas A&M. LSU got him at the last second, so you got to give Brian Kelly and his staff a lot of credit. Yep. With that win and with the Ole Miss loss to Alabama, LSU's going to the SEC championship game.
Yeah, that's right. And so even though Bama won there against Ole Miss, which is a good win, I think Bama's eliminated.
No, there's no way.
We'll look at our map in a second. USC wins. They're really the last hope for the Pac-12 with just 1 loss. Clemson lurking, 1 loss. It's going to take a lot, and I think that brings us to our current college football playoff map. And look, this is me and Will's opinion, or the Chat Sports Company opinion. We think there's 9 teams alive for the Final 4 spots. Georgia, Ohio State, TCU, and Michigan. That was last week's top 4. It's clear. For those 4 teams, if they win out, they're in the college football playoff. I don't think there's any doubt about it. On the bubble, Tennessee, LSU, and USC. What does the bubble category mean? What that means is you don't need a lot of help, but it's possible you might need some help because we don't know how the committee is going to view Tennessee versus LSU, for example, if both went out. If LSU wins out and wins the SEC championship, there'll be a 2-loss conference champ, but it's still the SEC champ. but they lost to Tennessee, who would only have one loss. Naturally, Will, at least one spot would open up in the top 4 because Ohio State and Michigan, of course, play each other. But I don't think we can say there's a 5th team right now that for sure controls their own destiny. USC on the bubble as well. If they run the table in the Pac-12, pick up a win over UCLA this week, Notre Dame next week, and a Pac-12 title game against another ranked team, that would help them out tremendously. And then I think we're in agreement. Clemson, North Carolina, the ACC teams, they need a lot of help. They need more help than Tennessee, LSU, and USC do at this point in time.
Yeah, they would need chaos to happen. They would need LSU to lose again. They might need Tennessee to lose to Vanderbilt. I mean, they're going to need a lot of help. I think the ACC on the verge of being eliminated here. But you mentioned the LSU conversation here. If LSU wins out and Tennessee wins out. Because what you'd have basically, I don't necessarily want to use the term three-way tie, but you'd have a situation where LSU beat Georgia, Tennessee beat LSU, and Georgia beat Tennessee. And you would have 2 teams to pick out of those 3 teams. I don't see a world, and yes, I'm aware that LSU has 2 losses. I do not see a world where there's 3 SEC teams vying for 2 spots and the SEC champ does not get in. I do not see a world where that happens.
Had LSU played Tennessee close, I think your scenario would be like for sure. You know what I mean? Like if that was a close game, I think they'd be like, well, it was close. Yes, they lost, but they won the rest of their games and they beat the defending champion, number 1 ranked team at the time, Georgia. How can we leave that team out? The issue the committee is going to run into, and please subscribe to the channel because we bring you the best college football analysis out there, especially this time of year. The issue they're going to run into, the committee, if that scenario plays out that way, and obviously we got a lot of football between now and then. The committee has tended to get bailed out by the results down the stretch, but let's say they don't and they run into that scenario. They're going to have to decide, okay, yes, LSU's a conference champion. Yes, they just beat Georgia. But they also have 2 losses, and also on top of that, they also lost to Tennessee head-to-head with 1 more loss by 30 points. That's a lot to overcome even as a conference champion.
You're right.
It's a very unique situation that we haven't seen before.
Right. There's never been a 2-loss team that got into the college football playoff. However, there has been a 2-loss national champion. Drum roll, please. LSU 2000.
Pre-CFP, different system.
I meant to say national champion. So we'll see what goes down. I mean, that would be a situation that would certainly create a lot of controversy and a lot of chaos in the sport. Again, as you said, we're a long way from that. LSU's got to beat UAB, which they will. They got to beat Texas A&M, and they got to beat Georgia. So we're 3 wins away from that happening, and Georgia right now just looks, I don't want to say unbeatable because they did look vulnerable against Mizzou and Kent State.
They've ramped it up the last month.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Doubt. It's going to be tough for any team to beat that Georgia team.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Shout out your city. Let us know where you guys are watching from. And here in a few moments, we'll get to our mock top 25. Just an update on the college basketball game. Michigan State up 51-50 on Kentucky, and 7:09 left to go. So, again, the clock below us is, it's taken us to the top of the hour, but it's very possible we go beyond that as well. Shout out your city. We got Timothy in Lima. Is that Lima, Peru? You down in South America? We got Jeremy in Aner, South Carolina. Greenville, South Carolina. Go Dogs from Jeremy. Fort Worth, Texas is where David's watching. Tony Fuentes here in Dallas. That's where we're at, the Chat Sports Studios. Miner Zach in Michigan. Corbin, Kentucky for White Boy Magic. Kimberly, Wisconsin. We got Eugene, Oregon. Georgia Born, Go Dogs from Thrust Flyer Gaming. Let's see. Timothy Hunter in Ohio. Junior Estrada in Alabama. Got Chualor in Hamilton City, California. Dylan Heck in Dayton, Ohio. We've got King Higgins in L.A. Let's see. Edwin is in Andover. Chubb says, go Noles. Hey, Florida State, I'll tell you what, if they keep winning, that helps LSU. That makes that loss, not look as bad. I mean, that's really like, if LSU, let's say they're the number 5 team or whatever at the end of it, that's going to be the game where they're going to be like, you're kidding. You got to be kidding me, right?
Right. Missed extra point at the end, the difference in that football game.
But so I would say regardless, though, LSU is ahead of schedule in year 1 with Brian Kelly with what they
who saw them winning the SEC West in year 1? Keep in mind, this was a football team that was under 500 the last 2 years combined.
Yes.
They went 5-5 in 2020. Academy. They went 6-7 last year. Brian Kelly comes in with 34 scholarship players and has them in the SEC championship game. It's going to be interesting who the coach of the year is, but he's certainly top 2 or top 3 for me.
A lot of interesting candidates.
Sonny Dykes up there as well.
Sonny Dykes. Hey, how about Jim Moore at UConn? To get them bowl, I'm serious.
Yeah, you're right.
To get them bowl eligible is a huge accomplishment. I mean, there's a lot of coaches doing great work. That's a good job. Kelly's doing great. I'll pat my own guy, Sonny Dykes, on the back. I mean, to have TCU 10-0, the last 3 years this program's been below 500, taking over for a legend. That's not easy. So he's done a great job. All right, let's get to our mock rankings. We won't spend a ton of time. It was really hard 21 through 25 this week because a lot of these teams lost, like Tulane lost. How far do they drop? Texas lost, but it was to a top 5 team. I think if a 4-loss team is ranked, they will be the team because their metrics are pretty high. Oklahoma State, I think they might slip back into the rankings this week. Had a big win over the weekend. Coastal Carolina, go Chants, 9-1. I could see them getting in there.
They still have an outside chance to be the Group of 5 team in the New Year's 6.
If they went out and get some help, it's possible. Cincinnati at 22. I think we'll see them back in the rankings tonight. And then I mentioned Tulane. Tough loss to UCF, so their New Year's 6 odds took a hit. Florida State at 20. They keep winning games. UCF with that win over Tulane, I think they're now kind of in that driver's seat to get that Group of 5 nominee for the New Year's 6. Notre Dame, Marcus Freeman, give him some credit. I mean, things were falling off earlier this year after that loss to Marshall, but they've righted the ship. Kansas State at 17, they just hammered Baylor and Waco. They now will control their own destiny to get to the Big 12 championship game if they can win at West Virginia and then against Kansas in the final. Could you imagine if the Jayhawks spoiled Kansas State's Big 12 championship? And it's not impossible. Right. Kansas is solid this year.
And even if Kansas State, if we see a situation where they're in the Big 12 championship game and lose that to TCU, they could be a 3-loss team and still get into New Year's 6. Or 4-loss team. Yeah, you're right.
They would get, assuming TCU gets into the CFP, they would get the auto Big 12 New Year's 6 tie into, I believe, the Sugar Bowl. UCLA at number 16. I think they're going to dive a little bit here, Will. Bad loss at home to Arizona. I mean, you just can't have it. So I think they're eliminated from the CFP conversation. 15, Washington, one of the wins of the weekend to go into Autzen Stadium, win that game. I think they jump up a ton tonight. Ole Miss at number 14. They'll drop a couple spots. Played Bama close but lost. Where does North Carolina rank tonight? I don't know where to rank them. 13. They were behind Penn State last week. Are they going to jump them? I don't really see why. They beat 6-win Wake Forest. Penn State beat 6-win Maryland. Are they going to just randomly jump North Carolina? I don't know what you do with the Tar Heels. They don't have a ranked win. How do you view them? Is there any path for them to make the CFP? I think they're the longest shot.
There is. I would agree. Okay, but you mentioned, is there a chance? Well, right now, and I expect this to be how it is, we have them slotted behind Penn State and Utah. 2 teams that I think we can both agree are done. So that they're already going to jump those
by
2
the
if
end,
they win out.
They're already at least 11.
And we'll look at our top 10 here in a second. But they would jump Clemson, so that puts them at.
Let's circle back.
Right, we'll circle back.
I want to talk about the path for North Carolina because I do think it's there, but it's going to take a lot. Who is the most overrated top 25 team? Is it North Carolina? Sam says USC because he hates Lincoln Riley. But I do think they're a little bit overrated.
They're certainly
not
a little bit
great.
overrated.
They're a good team, but they're not great. Who
Alabama,
do you guys think?
maybe, honestly. They're probably going to be number 8
this
tonight.
This is the most vulnerable Bama team we've seen since probably the first year of the CFP when they lost to Ohio State in the semis.
I would agree.
And Blake Sims was their quarterback. What do you guys think? Alabama, we see Notre Dame in there. Florida State, Oklahoma State. Yeah, Oak State's ranked. They're not very good, to be honest. They've had a lot of injuries. Bama from Stash and Chase. Cassandra says Bama. A lot of Bamas coming in. Georgia Bulldog says TCU. UCF from Gaming Wizard. Florida State. We got Notre Dame, Oregon, Bama, USC, Texas. Most overrated team in the country. Let us know what you guys think. Let's get to the top 10 here. Then I do want to get back to that North Carolina discussion on how they could possibly get in. Oregon at 10, Will, I think that's another team in that UNC discussion. If UNC wins the ACC only has one loss, you would think even if Oregon were to win out, they could get ahead of them. So in that scenario, they're already really 10 by the end of this thing. But obviously a tough loss for the Ducks last week.
Yeah, a really tough loss to Washington. We expected that to be a close game. Now, Oregon was at home.
Yep.
They were a 12-point favorite, but that's a pretty big rivalry game. You're talking about some guys involved in that game for the first time that maybe were a little bit surprised how heated that rivalry can get. But Washington gets the job done in the end, a 3-point win, even though Bo Nix and the Ducks offense played pretty well.
Yeah, look, what the average college football fan probably doesn't know is Washington's quarterback, Michael Penix, leads college football in passing. Oregon's pass defense is 117th in the country. Tough matchup on paper, and that certainly proved to play out. Number 9, Clemson. We'll see where they're at tonight. They were 10 last week, 9 this week. I don't think they have to worry about our number 18, Bama, because Bama, there's no upward path for them because they play Austin Peay, then Auburn, who's terrible. No SEC title game. I think they'll be 8 for now because they beat Ole Miss, a ranked team, but they can't move up really. I mean, there's nowhere to go.
They're Alabama. Let's just keep that in mind.
Yeah,
it's the brand. I'm not saying they're going to get in the playoff.
They can't get into the top 4.
But my goodness, the committee loves Alabama. I don't know. I don't know.
No one hates this committee more than me, and even I'm saying I don't see how it could happen.
I'm trolling right now.
They can't get there.
But yeah, I mean, it
is. If any 2-loss team not going to the conference title game could, it's Nick Saban's Crimson Tide.
Yeah, that's exactly.
We know that.
Non-division, non-conference, 2-loss team.
We go USC at number 7. The resume's not great, but they've got a Heisman-level quarterback. Lincoln Riley has played in these big games. They're brand names. Their schedule's in front of them, right? UCLA on the road this weekend. Notre Dame next weekend, Pac-12 title.
That's 3 ranked wins.
If they win all 3 of those on the trot, their argument becomes compelling. So let's bring the North Carolina discussion into this. You need USC to lose again.
Yes.
That's a fact.
And I don't think you have to worry about 8 through 10.
Yeah, because you'll play Clemson,
right.
So if you beat them.
that puts them at 8, let's say right now.
So it starts with USC. So let's bring back the map before we get to our projected top 6. If you're North Carolina, you need USC to lose. Yes. You need TCU to lose twice, I think. I think one-loss TCU Big 12 champ is getting in over North Carolina ACC champ. One loss.
Well,
they're too far back.
Are we saying one-loss Big 12 champ TCU?
No.
What if TCU's one loss is in the Big 12 championship
that would be
game?
different.
Okay.
They need TCU to lose twice total, I would say.
What does TCU's schedule look like before the championship
At Baylor,
game?
Iowa State at home.
At Baylor's going to be really tough.
It is.
At Baylor's going to be really tough.
And TCU, shouldn't say we, my alma mater, TCU last year knocked Baylor out of the CFP, had no business winning that game, beat them, killed Baylor's chances. You know they're going to want to do the same. But back to that discussion, though. North Carolina, in my opinion, needs TCU to lose twice. You need USC to lose. If those things all happen and they win out, do they also need Tennessee to lose? I think they do.
Yeah.
I think they need Tennessee to lose, too.
They absolutely need Tennessee to lose.
So they need TCU to lose twice.
They need
Tennessee to lose and USC to lose. If all that happens, they're probably in.
And that's a lot.
That's a lot, man. That is a lot.
I think they need Tennessee to lose once more than they need TCU to lose twice.
Maybe.
I do. Because I could see a scenario where one-loss Tennessee gets in over one-loss TCU.
Yeah.
I could 100% see a scenario.
I could see that
because
scenario.
The committee,
they love the SEC.
Their job, and I'm not saying they've done a good job with this, but their mentality is, okay, who are the best 4 teams?
Yep.
They're not saying, TCU won a conference title and Tennessee didn't.
Yeah.
They're going to put the top 4 teams in. So you're right. They really need Tennessee to lose one more game here.
The point is Carolina needs help from more than one team. I mean, they need 2-3 teams to falter down the stretch. So let's get to our projected top 6. They need Georgia to probably beat LSU
100%.
because if LSU wins that, then it's like there's too much roadway in front of North Carolina. LSU at 6. I think the top 5 stays the same. I think Tennessee stays at 5. It's possible TCU jumps up to 3, but we'll keep them at 4. Michigan at number 3, Ohio State at number 2, and then Georgia number 1. We don't expect a lot of drama in the top 6, but we'll see. It is the College Football Playoff Committee. Weird things have happened. Will, for the first time ever last week, I did not heavily ridicule the committee last week. I thought it was pretty straightforward. We'll see if they do it for 2 straight weeks. That would be a record on this show. Who should be number 2, Ohio State, Michigan, or TCU? Let us know what you guys think as we await the College Football Playoff Committee to release their rankings. We'll get some shout-outs here. Will can give you guys some shout-outs as they come in.
Yeah, Shane is saying Ohio State. Timothy, we got Rob saying Ohio State. Gabe saying Michigan. Dylan, heck, Ohio State. Amanda, Gabe again. Doom Guy, Manuel, all saying Ohio State. Underdog saying Michigan. Joe saying Michigan. Tony Fuentes saying TCU. We got a Tennessee fan in the chat saying Tennessee. They're not going to be number 2.
No.
I can promise you that. Jeremy Wilson and Cassandra saying Ohio State. Zelver saying Ohio State. Cameron with a couple of orange emojis. I'm guessing that means, I don't think that means Syracuse. I'm going to say Tennessee there.
The orange of,
Don't remind me.
It was a fun September and October.
We have basketball season to look forward to. Oh, wait, we just got destroyed by Colgate. Walter Campbell saying
That's freaking hilarious.
Rashad Lee, Clemson. Gabe Miller saying Coastal. Go Shots, man.
Hey,
Go Shots.
Shots should be ranked.
They should be
love.
ranked. They absolutely should be ranked.
I forget their coach's name, but he's done a hell of a job there.
Yeah, he's done really well.
He's done a really good job there. So we will see. Should we do – let's go through this, and then how about some blind resume stuff, Sam Brown, after this. This is an interesting stat. So obviously the AP is different, but the reason it's relevant, Will, is because the AP poll started week 1. It's probably not relevant to the committee, but just for talking points, wins over AP ranked teams.
So this isn't currently ranked
at
teams.
the time. This is 2 different lists. Let's focus on this one first. Tennessee has played and beaten 5 AP ranked teams when they were ranked at the time. Doesn't mean they're ranked now. TCU has also accomplished that. Clemson has done it 3 times. They're a good example, though, of is it still legitimate, because a lot of the teams they've played have lost a bunch. Ohio State has done it twice. Michigan has done it once. USC, when they played a ranked team at the time, 0 wins. They lost to Utah, the only ranked opponent they have faced this year. Wins versus current ranked teams. Tennessee has 2, both in the top 10. LSU and Alabama. Ohio State has 2. Penn State and Notre Dame. TCU has 2. Kansas State and Oklahoma State. Michigan has 1. Penn State, Clemson has 1. Florida State, USC has 1. Number 25, Oregon State. Congratulations, Trojans. You beat the Beavers for 1 current AP ranked win. Maybe the Beavs are ranked this week in the CFP. We'll have to wait and see. So let's play blind resume. Have you looked at this, by the way?
No, I have not.
Have you not?
No.
All right. So let's have some fun. And you guys are going to play along too. So team number 1 on the left, 3 top 25 wins. And by the way, this graphic is based on Will and I's top 25 projections. So the numbers could change based on the CFP, especially if our 25th ranked team isn't ranked, well, that would take away a ranked win potentially for one of these teams, for example. 3 top 25 wins, strength of schedule 38, strength of record is 1, best in the country. You want to the better number you are, or the lower number you are there, the better it is. 2 top 25 wins for team 2, 44 strength of schedule, 2nd strength of record, and then team 3, 2 top 25 wins, 60th strength of schedule, 4th in strength of record. Want to take any guesses? And you guys guess as well. Who's team 1, team 2, and team 3? Let us know. Who's team 1, team 2, and team 3?
I'm going to say team 1 is Georgia.
Okay.
I'm going to say team 2 is Tennessee.
Okay.
I'm going to say team. I hope I don't go 0 for 3 and embarrass myself here, but I'm going to say team 3 is Ohio State. Georgia, Tennessee.
You got one right.
Ohio
I'll tell
State.
You that.
Ohio State at 3.
Which one do you think you got right?
I think I got Georgia right.
You did not get Georgia
Whoa!
right. You did not. Wait, actually, you did get Georgia right. You got 2 right. Wait, no, you didn't.
No, the only one I got. The only one I got right was Ohio State.
So let's see what the chat is saying before we reveal it. Aaron said, "Oh, never mind. There it is. TCU is team 1. Georgia is team 2. Ohio State is team 3 on this blind resume reveal." Now, again,
of course, you wanted to make this graph.
In our project, well, no, but I'll be objective here. TCU, right. Sure, they may have 3, but Oklahoma State, a little lower in the rankings. Kansas State, not as high as like a win over Tennessee, for example. But the point of this is it's interesting to see what type of conversations are the committee having. When you get down to these last 2, 3, 4 weeks, these are the conversations you have to have. The resume, the eye test, what do you value? And that's what's made this whole process frustrating. I don't think we still know completely how they explain all of this, right? Like the 10-minute interview that they do after every rankings reveal isn't satisfactory to me. But I do think that blind resume is an interesting exercise to do because would anybody rank TCU ahead of Georgia? No, they wouldn't. But should they be as low as Michigan, for example? We haven't gotten to their resume
I think you have a strong argument for ranking TCU over Michigan. And the 2 things that I'm looking for in this rankings reveal tonight, specifically in the top 10, who's going to be ranked higher, LSU or USC?
Yep.
And the other 2 teams I'm looking at, who's going to be ranked higher, Michigan or TCU? I do see a world where TCU jumps Michigan tonight.
We'll see what happens. We got one more blind resume to hit you guys in a minute, but help us out. We're trying to get to 321,000 subscribers. We're 92 away. I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight if we don't get to 321K, so help us out. Hit the sub button. We got 700 people watching live. 2.5 minutes left to go in the basketball game, and they're tied, so overtime could be a possibility. But as soon as the game is over, we are expected to have the rankings revealed by the committee, which then we will release to all of you. If you want more college football videos, subscribe. We're putting out coaching hot boards all the time, live every Tuesday night. We'll be live every Tuesday, and then that final Sunday after Championship Saturday with the final college football playoff rankings. Recruiting stuff as well. Lots to hit you guys with over the next month and a half. All right, one more blind resume game, okay? Here we go. Team number 1 here. 2 top 25 wins. Strength of schedule is 11. Strength of record is 7. Will actually already knows this one, so we'll ask the audience this one. Team number 2, 2 top 25 wins. Strength of schedule and strength of record is 3rd. Team number 3, 1 top 25 win. 82nd strength of schedule. 5th strength of record. Who is team 1? Who is team 2? Who is team 3? Let us know in the chat. Matt Cassidy says team 3 is USC. Gabe says all 3 are LSU. That's impossible. That's not how it works. LSU, Tennessee, Michigan from Butter. Team 1 is LSU. Team 3 is Michigan. USC can mess with LSU. I don't know if you mean can or can't. 1 is LSU. Michigan, Tennessee, LSU. 2 is Tennessee or USC. Alabama 1 next year. Yeah, we don't care about next year. We're focused on this year. Vols from Nick. 2 is Michigan. 3 is Michigan. All right, should we reveal?
Let's do it.
Let's reveal. Let's see who these 3 teams are. Team 1 was LSU. A lot of you guys had it. Team 2 is Tennessee. Team 3 is Michigan. Now, Tennessee, when you look at all 6 of these teams on the blind resume, you could argue has the strongest resume. Now, they also got blown out in their 1 loss. They were not impressive against Georgia. I think Michigan's resume is really interesting. I keep having this debate with our boss, James Yoder, Will, who's a big Michigan fan. If they lose to Ohio State,
they're done.
I think they're done. They played no one in the non-conference. The Big Ten is bad this year outside of Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State. No one else is good in that conference. I'm sorry. It's just the truth. If they lose to Ohio State, they're finished. I think they have to run the table. Would you agree?
I would agree. I think that in the end, the loser of that Ohio State-Michigan game is eliminated. I do believe that Ohio State would have a better chance of being a one-loss non-conference or not a conference champ that gets in.
The Notre Dame win helps them.
Right. But Michigan, they're non-conference. We just saw it. Their strength of schedule, 82nd of football compared to other teams that we looked at in that blind resume.
Illinois faltering down the stretch here, it doesn't help them either. I don't have them ranked tonight. I don't. They were 21 last week and lost again. I don't think they're going to be ranked. So that doesn't help the Wolverines. They got to win out. I mean, that's reality. And you know what? When you get to Ohio State, Michigan, and both are unbeaten, if you're one of those teams, you should feel like you should have to win that game, right? I mean, like, that's the Big Ten. You win that game, and you're in good shape. Like, that's how it goes.
And that's what I'm really going to miss when the playoff expands to 12 teams.
It's still going to matter.
That Ohio State-Michigan game that we're going to see in a couple weeks is going to be a playoff game, much like last year. That LSU-Bama game, not too long ago. Low-key a playoff game. The loser of that game was eliminated from the playoff conversation. So that is what I'm really going to miss when we have a 12-team playoff, because there's going to be a 3-loss team that gets in out of the SEC or Big Ten.
Well, here's the thing. The flip side of that, and I do get what you're saying, is the flip side of that conversation is there's still going to be a lot to play for. You want to get a first-round bye. You want to get a home field game. Like, those things are still going to be important.
It's not the same.
It's not quite the same.
The unique thing about college football, and it's not like this in any other sport, is the significance, the importance of every single game. Most teams can't afford to lose one game.
Here's what I'll say, though. It's also the only sport that about half of the sport enters the season knowing they have a 0% chance to compete for a national championship.
And that is why they should have expanded to 6 teams and have a group of 5 team get the nod as the 6th team. Now this year that would have been a problem because you have 2-loss UCF is probably the team that's going to get in.
Maybe the compromise is
they got to be ranked in the. They got to be what?
Or maybe the compromise is the G5 team has to be unbeaten, or something like that, or they have to be in the top 10, or whatever the case may be. But you should not enter a season knowing you have a 0% chance. Like that. That's just not. That's not healthy.
I don't disagree. That's why a 16 playoff would have been the way to go, and have a first-round bye for the top 2 seeds.
Yeah, we'll see what it all looks like.
Subscribe for more hot takes, guys.
Hey,
subscribe.
Willie Takes coming at you every week here on College Football Now. Who's your favorite college player ever? Favorite player ever? What about you, Will? We've never had this talk.
Man, okay. Well, Joe Burrow's the cop-out answer, so I'll give you a better name here. Trendon Holiday. From LSU, the best kick returner in college football history. Was my favorite player growing up. I have 2 signed frames and a signed jersey from my guy Trendon Holiday over there in my apartment right now. Trendon was my guy. He actually, funny story, I grew up in Houston, so a Texans fan, and I was at a sports bar watching the draft. And you know, we don't do this on Chat Sports, which is why you should subscribe for our draft coverage. But ESPN will go to commercial break in like the 6th round. And so ESPN was in commercial break. They come out of commercial break, and I find out that Trendon Holiday had been taken by the Houston Texans. So you can imagine my reaction as an LSU fan, a Houstonian. So yeah, man, Trendon was great for the Broncos is where he was best in the NFL.
There's some good ones in here. A few shout-outs. Tom Brady, that's interesting. Much better NFL career. Taj Boyd, nice. Charles Woodson, Honey Badger, Ed Reed. Dude, Tavon Austin Austin was a dog at West Virginia. He was fun as hell. Scary Terry, Deshaun Watson, that's aged well. Tavon Austin, Beanie Wells, Vinny Testaverde, we're going way. Archie Griffin, I love it. J.J. Watt, shout out to TCU for beating J.J. Watt in the Rose Bowl. You love to see it. Eric Berry, Trevor Lawrence, Herschel Walker, Sky Moore, Tavon Austin, Justin Fields, Tim Tebow, Percy Harvin. I'm surprised I haven't seen a Vince Young yet. He's probably the most unstoppable force I've ever witnessed in college football. Jack Sanborn. Oh, Trevon Boykin. Yeah, too bad he went to prison a few years later, but he was fun to watch in college. Johnny Manziel, a lot of good ones in there. Keep them coming in. This basketball game's starting to wind down. I think there's about 30 seconds left, so here shortly we should hear from the College Football Playoff Committee. Hit that subscribe button. We're 73 subs away. Can we get to 321,000 subscribers? Come on. Hit the subscribe button. College football news, rumors, rankings every Tuesday night. We got bowl projections coming up tonight. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a look at the big bowl game projections and a few other ones as well. Recruiting rankings. We put a video out last week. We'll have more recruiting coverage in the next month and a half leading up to National Signing Day. You're not going to want to miss any of it. Hit the subscribe button right here at Chat Sports. All right, we're going to reset here. Should hear from the committee shortly. He's Will Scott. I'm Harrison Graham. Here we go. College football now. CFP rankings coming shortly. All right, college football fans, Harrison Graham and Will Scott here at Chat Sports. We're just a few moments away from hearing from the College Football Playoff Committee as the rankings will be revealed shortly. We will pass those along to you and react to all of it along the way. We are told we will not get those from the committee until the conclusion of Michigan State and Kentucky, the college basketball game. 61-60 Kentucky on top with 16 seconds left. So if that goes to overtime, that obviously pushes things back.
There's going to be 8 timeouts in the last 15 seconds.
It's going to be a few minutes here. So shout out your favorite team. We'll go through our mock top 10 maybe. Keep an eye on that. And then take a look at the college football playoff map as well. So we'll do all of that for you guys. What'd you say there?
I said that's Grady Dick.
Oh, there you go. Grady Dick getting loose for Kansas.
I believe one of the broadcasters earlier on the preview said, "Man, I'm a big fan of Grady Dick."
Was that Dick Vitale?
It was not. I think it was Reese David. I don't know who. No. It was what's his face? Seth Greenberg.
Texas from Ryan. We got a Clemson fan, Oklahoma State, Florida State, Kentucky, Georgia, TCU, Clemson, Michigan State, Georgia, Kentucky. We got to go Frogs in there. Thoughts on Oklahoma State? Weird year. They've had a lot of injuries. Spencer Sanders has been hurt. Won last weekend. They play Bedlam this week in Oklahoma State. We'll see what happens. Most irrelevant Bedlam in 25 years, I'd say. Alabama from Chualor, Jackson State. What's up, Dion? Idaho from Shaded. Utah. A lot of teams coming in there. All right, Will, let's take a look at our mock CFP rankings as we await for the official rankings to come in. 15 through 1 is how we'll go here. Washington, big win over Oregon. Their Pac-12 title hopes remain alive. Ole Miss, they drop one to Alabama. We got them at 14. North Carolina, Will, we spent some time on them earlier. The path is there, but it's a tough path to get into the top 4 mix.
We would need 2007 level of chaos for North Carolina to get in, but there's still a path. They need a lot of help.
No doubt about it. Penn State at number 12, Utah at number 11. The Oregon Ducks at number 10. I think they're out of the mix now, but certainly still have Pac-12 title hopes and New Year's Six hopes alive. Clemson at number 9, lurking there. Bama at 8, but I think we're in agreement, Will. There's no upward trajectory. The LSU Tigers clinched the SEC West last weekend, meaning that Bama can't get there. Bama has 2 losses. I don't think there's a path to get them into the top 4. USC at number 7.
There should not be a path for Bama, but the brand name, the committee,
they should be done.
Love for Alabama over the years. Look, the committee, we both have strong opinions about the committee, so you never know. But yeah, USC very much in the mix at 7.
Top 6, LSU at number 6 as they clinched the SEC West last weekend, like I mentioned. Tennessee at number 5. Look, you win your last 2 games, get just a tick of help. You're going to be in a good position to make the CFP if you're the Volunteers. Top 4 we go. I think it's chalk, Will. We'll see. There's some talk. Maybe TCU jumps Michigan to number 3, but we've got the Frogs at 4, Wolverines at 3, the Ohio State Buckeyes at number 2, and then the Georgia Bulldogs at number 1. We'll see how it plays out in the end, but we'll get those rankings here shortly from the committee. And in all of that time that we just talked, 4 seconds came off the clock in the basketball game. Kentucky 62-60. Once that game concludes, we should hear from the committee. In the meantime, who should be number 2? And then we'll take a look at our college football playoff map. What do you think, Will? Ohio State? I think the Buckeyes are probably 2.
It'll be Ohio State. But I think it's going to be interesting to see if TCU jumps Michigan this week. I think it's pretty possible.
Gut feeling. Does it happen?
Gut feeling, yes, it does happen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not as confident. I also don't think it really matters at this point. I think the original message the committee sent was that they didn't love TCU, so they're probably just going to have to win them all to get in.
Yeah.
So,
Baylor's going to be tough. I'm excited to watch that game.
We'll see if a win over Texas shifted the committee at all. And yeah, I mean, look, rivalry game this weekend. It's college football. Anything can happen. We just saw Arizona win at UCLA randomly. So Washington at USC at Oregon. Tony Fuentes says TCU.
Sam, we had the same
Baseball
reaction.
Enjoyer says Georgia. Michigan State has the ball down 2, looking to tie or take a lead. We don't want overtime here, folks. Oh, and they just tied it. Inbound dunk uncovered. And we are tied at the State Farm Champions Classic.
We'll see if Kentucky opts to take a timeout here with 3 seconds
Calipari
left.
Can't believe it. That was just
something up.
That's just a breakdown.
That
Complete
was terrible.
breakdown. All right, here's the current CFP map.
We totally jinxed it.
We may have. I think this happened another year too. It's classic. It's classic. Will, let's explain this real quick. The Control Destiny category is pretty obvious. I mean, the top 4 last week. They'll be the top 4 this week, whatever the order is. Georgia, TCU, Ohio State, and Michigan. It's very simple. If they went out, they're in the playoff. There's no scenario where they're not.
Right. So those 4 control their own destiny, and then you have a situation where Tennessee, LSU, and USC very much in the mix. They might need help. They might not need help. We'll see. And then 2 teams that desperately need help. Clemson and North Carolina, the ACC champ, has an outside chance of getting in.
They need more help.
Not a good chance.
They need more help than the bubble teams. The scenarios get interesting once the Ohio State-Michigan game plays out. Like, if the rest of this goes chalk for the next 2 weeks, which it won't. It's college football. But let's say it does, and let's say Ohio State and Michigan lose. Who is that number 4 team heading into Championship Saturday? That is going to be the fascinating discussion. I would think it would be Tennessee, but if LSU is 5 and they beat Georgia on Championship Saturday, is that enough to catapult them?
I
mean, that's going to be that's going to be the scenario that plays out. It's going to be very fascinating.
Like I said earlier, you mentioned Tennessee's win over LSU is, a potential
blowout
hurdle
hurts
here.
LSU.
But if they're picking between 3 SEC teams for 2 spots, they're going to choose the SEC champ. It's going to happen.
Is there a path where Georgia would get left out?
I don't think so. I don't think so either.
Yeah. Because then you'd be punishing them for making the SEC title game.
That's what Kentucky drew up.
Kentucky just bricked a half-court shot.
That's what Kentucky drew up.
And we're going to overtime, so stick around. Subscribe to the channel. And also, let's tell you a little bit about our sponsor tonight, as Established Titles is sponsoring tonight's College Football Playoff Rankings Reveal show. And hey, Established Titles, great sponsor because they're doing great work in Scotland because they're looking to preserve the natural woodlands of Scotland, and that's what they're trying to do. And you get a fun gift in return if you want to go support that. So here's what it's about. This project, based on a historic Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lairds or lords and ladies in English. Title packs give you at least 1 square foot of dedicated land with a unique plot number on a private estate in Edelston, Scotland, and an official certificate with a crest. Will already got his in the mail. I'm still waiting for mine. They plant a tree with every order and work with global charities, One Tree Planted, Trees for the Future, to support those global reforestation efforts. You could officially include the title Lord or Lady on your credit card, your plane ticket, your dating profiles, and a lot more. Willie Dates is now Lord Willie Dates on Hinge. That's what I hear. It makes for a great last-minute gift. And oh, by the way, the first 200 people that use our promo code chat at establishedtitles.com/chat can join our chat sports kingdom that we're building in Edelston. We've already had a ton of subscribers get their plot of land over there. There's still room for plenty more, so save an extra 10% when you use the promo code chat. Their Black Friday sale that's going on right now can get you certain deals up to 80% off, and then you get that extra 10% off. It's a hell of an opportunity. EstablishedTitles.com/chat, promo code chat. Get going with Established Titles today and become a lord or a lady with getting your plot of land in Scotland. All right, let's see where the people are watching from. Shout out your city, and we should have ordered some food, man.
That would have been nice.
This going to overtime. Shout out Marshall Green for sneakily ordering food and not telling. I feel kind of bad because Sam asked me if we should order food, and I was like, I mean, I got half this sandwich left, and we'll be out of here by 8:45. But that's not going to be the case
we'll see
anymore.
If this game is over by 8:45.
Will, I don't know about you over there. I am quite hungry over here.
Oh, I'm right there with you, man.
It's a tough one.
We should steal Nick's Now's Grimaldi's.
Yeah, is it just sitting
That's what
in there?
they get for leaving us out.
Oh man, that is brutal. Shout out your city. Hey. Y for yes, N for no. Should we steal pizza from our NBA Knicks watch party? Y for yes, N for no. There's one pizza out there. Should we steal it?
I'm leaning towards stealing it, honestly.
Y for yes, N for no. I'm seeing a lot of yeses come in. Richard says yes. Hey, we're men of the people.
Right.
If they're
we
saying
listen
yes,
to people.
I mean, what are we going to do? Say no? Dylan, I don't see a single no. I don't see a single no, Will. I mean, the people have spoken. We may have to steal that pizza. So
Grimaldi's is good, man.
I've never had it.
You've never had Grimaldi's?
I might have to steal it on that alone.
Oh man, it's really good.
Hillsborough,
really
Tennessee,
good.
from Yugi, man. We got Tony Fuentes saying yes. Make them suffer, Jeremy Wilson says. Jimmy Johns, L2 says, love you, Harrison. Love you too, L2, one of my Bears Now subscribers. We got Goose in Baton Rouge, Nicholas in Knoxville. Cricket says favorite team. Well, I'm a TCU alum. It's a different situation over there for Will. It's,
yes.
I
grew up a Syracuse fan, but I went to LSU.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. That's
the other way around.
It's the other way around. Is your dad an LSU alum?
He is, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Class of 86, man. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. Go Tigers. London,
Tigers.
absolutely. Texas, Toledo, LSU top 4. They're not there yet.
Could get there.
There is a path. How about Oscar? I always forget how to pronounce this guy's last name for Kentucky. 22-17 tonight. Not enough to win in regulation, though. All right. Well, we could circle back to some other conversations here, Will. We look at last week, no real shakeups here except for Oregon going down. It was a bad week for the Pac-12, Will, because Oregon lost and UCLA lost, leaving one-loss USC is really their only hope.
Yeah, and, taking a look here, I'm curious to see what would happen, what's going to happen tonight with maybe USC jumping LSU. Now, Colorado's terrible.
They're so bad.
So it's not like they blew out a good team, but LSU did run into a little bit of trouble in Arkansas. They got the job done. I mean, to be honest, I think a three-point road win at Arkansas is more impressive than beating Colorado at home.
Yeah, maybe not like eye test-wise, but Colorado is the worst Power 5 team in the country.
Right.
Seriously. They're that bad. They are so bad. So, but again, USC has 3 ranked games coming up. UCLA this week, Notre Dame next week, and then the Pac-12 title game. So
this is a scenario for you. Who gets in? 1-loss Tennessee or 1-loss Pac-12 champ USC?
Look, the rest of the way, USC can do more damage. There's no doubt about it. Does Tennessee's resume hold up if they
I have a hot take.
If they went out and UCLA wins 3 ranked games in a row?
I have a hot take.
Could USC jump them?
I have a hot take.
All right.
I think Tennessee loses at South Carolina this weekend.
Well, that would clear things up for a lot of folks.
I think Tennessee loses to South Carolina.
We could look at some matchups this weekend. I know we have some of the
Beamer ball. I'm telling you.
Dude, they just got slaughtered by Florida, who's not great. But it's college football, man.
Anything can happen.
Is Spencer Rattler randomly going to have a good game? He has not had one all season. He's been terrible for South Carolina.
We'll see.
So, what's the score? You think Hendon Hooker held in check this week?
Yeah, I think South Carolina. And I'm getting roasted in the comments.
Do you actually think that, or are you just trying to speak it into existence?
No, I think
you're calling your shot.
Yeah, call my shot.
All right. Hey, I like it. How about this? Out of these 5 games. And Utah at Oregon's not as vital anymore because both those teams have 2 losses. Out of the first 4 games, which team is in the most trouble? Is it I would think USC at UCLA. UCLA before last week has been really good all year. They smoked USC last year, and they're at home. I would think out of all of those, that is I mean, look, I will straight up admit it. I am nervous as hell for this TCU Baylor game. It's a rivalry game. TCU has won 6 out of 7. The last time TCU was in the playoff mix, their only loss was in Waco to Baylor, 61-58 in 2014. The Demons are there for the program. Like, that is going to be a trap game. But I think USC at UCLA, I don't know, man. I could see DTR, Chip Kelly dialing it up and out-coaching Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams this week.
I could see that as well. That's a sellout, by the way.
For the first time in 10 years?
Well, sellout when you don't include the tarp off 20,000 seats.
Well, they actually opened up some of those seats.
Okay, they did? Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they did open some of those up. But that sellout's probably going to be a lot of USC fans, too, to be fair. But USC, 2.5-point favorite, a lot of points, over under 75. I like the over in that game, by the way. This is going to be an interesting – this is the biggest USC-UCLA game. It's kind of a bummer just for college football fans that UCLA lost last weekend, because you'd be looking at the winner of this game in potentially the driver's seat to represent the Pac-12, potentially in the college football playoff. Right.
Yeah, this is going to be a really good game. I think this is going to be a back-and-forth game. I think USC ultimately wins it, but I'm with you, when you're saying Chip Kelly, drawing something up here –
they're going to score points.
Yeah, it's going to take the over. I know the over 75. I'm not taking the under in that game.
USC 2 weeks ago gave up 35 to Cal, who lost to Colorado, the only team that Colorado has beaten. Right. So I expect DTR and those boys to put up 30-plus. Zach Charbonnet, the Michigan transfer running back, has been running wild this year. He's going to have a big game. But we know Caleb Williams is gonna go off too. I mean, this is going to be a fun game. There's a reason Fox sent Klatt and Gus to this game instead of the big noon kickoff, because it's going to be that good of a game. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
What's the big news? Is that Illinois, Michigan?
No, it's TCU Baylor.
Oh, right.
I think Baylor losing, especially in the way they did, they opted to go to this game instead.
Makes sense.
The big noon crew is still in Waco, but the A-team broadcast crew is going to be in L.A. for that matchup. All right, blame the bosses, because they're telling us we have to turn on subscriber-only chat. Too many college basketball fans in the chat from what we're being told. So go ahead and hop in there. Subscribe to the channel. If you want to be in the chat, you got to be subscribed. So hit the sub button. And guys, I don't want to jinx it, but double OT very much in play. Kentucky up 1 with 38 seconds left.
Harrison?
I'm going to lose my mind if this goes.
Deal? Double OT, we steal the pizza?
That is a deal. 100%. They can order another one.
Yeah, we'll just, or hell, I'll offer to order them one, and they can Seeps can figure it out, picking it up. So, sub-only chat is on. Hit the sub button. We'll be here every Tuesday night. I mean, hey, we're here until 9:30 on the East Coast already, based on what we've done. You know what we should have done? We really dropped the ball here, guys. We should have done our bowl projections video. Just knocked that out. But it is what it is. If it goes to double OT, maybe we'll do that. If you want to shout out, type me in the comments. Type me, and Will Scott will get some shout-outs. Let's actually do that, Sam. If this goes to double OT, let's knock out bowl projections. That's a good talking point anyway. Type me, and Will get some shout-outs going.
Got Jacob Dumbo, Matthew Bearing, Georgia Bulldogs for life, Gavin Snow, Zach DJ, Bayside High, Old Man Camping, Tony Fuentes, John Smith, Drew Thompson. We got Adam Rollins, Ryan the Gritty King. Did a little gritty. Shane Ryans.
9 subs away.
There we go. Come on, hit that subscribe button.
Sub and then type me for a shout out.
Subscribe button. Jeremy Wilson. Michigan State getting the ball. 32 seconds left.
Down 1.
Jake, DJ, John, Duncan, John Smith, Nick Fury, Seahawks fan Nick Fury, Frostbite, Joseph, Jeremy Little, Trinity Productions.
Oscar just fouled out,
Andrew
too.
Justice, Joseph again, Alan Dixon, Jake, Andrew Justice, John Smith, Frostbite.
Thank you guys for 321. 321,000 subs here on the channel. Just hit another milestone. The road to 322,000 says Yes. Jake Inzer is asking you, Will, can Will Scott expand on why he thinks Tennessee loses? It has nothing to do with him wanting LSU to make the CFP, I promise.
No, it honestly doesn't.
It's classic college football.
It's just classic
upset
college football upset
Is it at
alert.
South Carolina?
It's in Columbia.
Okay.
It's in Columbia. Columbia's going to be rocking. That's not an easy place to play. Night game. I'm telling you, Beamer ball, he's a great coach.
He's
Shane
doing a good
Beamer,
job
he's
there.
doing a great job. I just have a gut feeling, man. Gut feeling.
All right, that's interesting. I mean, look, weirder, much bigger upsets have happened than Tennessee, a team who has not been in this position in a while, losing to South Carolina. That's not the craziest thing that would have ever happened in college football. I'll tell you that right now. Final 15 seconds. Kind of break this down a little bit.
Just take the last shot,
Michigan, pull up from the elbow, miss. Kentucky rebound fouled with 8 seconds left.
If Kentucky makes both free throws, Michigan State a chance to tie it with the three.
You would think Kentucky
and I was
going to
say that's probably exactly what's going to happen.
Well, you would think Kentucky
just predicted it right now.
You foul up 3. I'm a big foul up 3 guy. I don't know about you all.
College. Yeah.
I'm a foul because first of all, college kids aren't good free throw shooters. That's number 1. And number 2, a lot has to go wrong if you foul up 3 to get beat. They have to make the first one and then get a tip in.
Oh, he missed it.
He missed it.
Okay,
we want him to miss this one then.
Yes.
Yeah, we do.
Yes. Miss.
Type in for miss. Miss.
M for miss.
Miss. Even I'm being told by the committee that they're falling asleep. They may not even reveal the rankings if this goes to double OT.
He made it.
That's a joke, but he did make it, and the 37th timeout of the game has been taken.
So now they keep spamming miss for Michigan State then to miss it right after.
Keep typing miss.
Let's get some
we need another miss. Miss or 3. Miss or 3. That's
if you're Michigan State, you got to go for the win here. You got to go for the win.
Oscar fouled out though.
We got a super from
got a super chat here.
All right.
Danny.
How about this? You guys super chat. We get your questions on the show. Will and I are down to hang out. How is Ohio State number 2? They play no one, just saying. I mean, they have a win over Penn State and Notre Dame. I will say, though, Will, in general, this has been a bad year for the Big Ten. The depth is bad. Outside of the top 3 of Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State, and I don't even know if Penn State's that good. It's just they're better than the rest of the teams.
Who's the winner of Michigan and Ohio State going to play in the championship game? I mean,
there's 5 teams
Purdue?
still alive. Purdue, Illinois.
I think Purdue's the best team in that division, but that's not saying much.
No, it's not. I mean, Purdue is. You look at the Big Ten West right now. I'll pull up the standings here. Okay, you've got in the West Purdue at 4-3, 6-4 overall. Illinois at 7-3, 4-3 overall, but they've lost 2 in a row. Iowa at 4-3. Iowa could still make it, and they have been terrible this year. Minnesota 4-3. They stink. Wisconsin's still alive at 3-4. I mean, it is a joke of a division right now. Here we go, 7.6 left. Michigan State inbounds it on the dead sprint. Pump fakes the 3, drives the hoop.
Oh, my God!
Dunk! Oh, my God. Uncontested dunk again. Kentucky from 3-quarter court, no good.
How does this happen?
We're doing bowl projections.
We are, absolutely.
We're doing bowl projections.
How does that happen twice?
Holy shit.
Even ESPN at this point has got to be like, all right,
no,
let's call the refs.
Committee might go to bed.
No, they should call the refs. Hey, call something wrong. Rig something here. We got to keep it moving.
This is unbelievable. How about the 2 teams waiting to play? They've been sitting in the tunnel for 45 minutes.
They never need to do this again with the basketball.
Just
don't do it. Do it before the basketball.
Yeah, exactly.
Do it before the basketball.
Well, they do it on purpose.
Oh,
it's a
I'm
ratings
aware.
boost. But I would still argue before it'd be just as fine ratings-wise. By the way, the people are saying definitely steal the pizza. Oh my God, what a joke! I mean, 2 uncontested dunks to force overtime and double overtime. Kentucky should lose on that alone. They should just call the game.
Go Sparty, man.
What a joke! I'm all in on Sparty now. Cal can he can take the L here. All right. So in the meantime, as we wait for the committee to unveil their rankings, we are going to hit you guys with our college football bowl projections. The The 6 New Year, we won't really talk where they're ranked and whatnot. The 6 New Year 6 bowl games and 4 other big bowl game projections coming at you. That's all coming up right here on College Football Now. Let's go ahead and break it all down. Harrison Graham and Will Scott here from Chat Sports. Welcome into College Football Now. And we got a few weeks left in the season, but we thought we would take an early look at some college football bowl game projections. We'll take a look at the full New Year 6, and then also 4 more big bowl game matchups that are not considered New Year 6 games. We'll take a look at the CFP projections first. Obviously, these teams could lose, not be in the playoff, but based on how things sit now, Ohio State, TCU, this would be the 2 versus 3 matchup if, the top 4 unbeaten teams end up winning out, for example, or the winner of Michigan, Ohio State, the loser. You know what I'm saying. The 4 seed currently not in the top 4. Georgia would be 1 in this scenario. Ohio State, TCU 2 and 3. This would be at the Fiesta Bowl in Glendale. Be an interesting one, and what was a funny tie in this one is TCU fans, believe me, are still butthurt about 2014 about Ohio State jumping TCU. So to finally get
8 years later,
to get their chance, I promise you they would love that opportunity in the college football playoff 8 years later.
I think it'd be a great game, too. 2 high-powered offenses. And, we've talked about it. The Big Ten isn't nearly as good this year. I think TCU's been more battle-tested than Ohio State. But I think TCU's got to win out to get into that game. And you can say the same thing about Ohio State as well. They obviously have to beat Michigan to get in.
Now, obviously, in these projections, we project Ohio State to beat Michigan, and I base that purely on the betting odds right now have Ohio State as a favor over Michigan. That game's at home, so that's how I projected that. Michigan could totally win that game. Other CFP game, Peach Bowl, Georgia,
rematch.
Tennessee, rematch. In this scenario, Tennessee becomes the 4 seed. In this projection, Georgia would beat LSU in the SEC championship game, so that situation doesn't get chaotic, obviously. And again, I'm just betting that on betting odds and whatnot. I'm not, this isn't my biases on who's going to win what game and whatnot. This is just based on betting odds and whatnot, and what's most likely to happen. And it's college football. The unlikely usually happens, but look, Tennessee would love to have a second crack at this. They just came out flat in that game. Tough road environment. You get them on a neutral field indoors with that high-powered offense, you got to think Tennessee would have a better chance the second time around. Georgia would certainly be favored. They'd be playing in their backyard. Tennessee fans would travel, though. This would be a fun game.
And that would make it the second straight year that we've seen a rematch in the playoff. Last year, Alabama and Georgia national championship game. Georgia laid an egg against Bama in Atlanta. They got the rematch. They won it. Tennessee could have the same chance here in the semifinal.
It's hard to beat a top 5 team twice, man. It really is. So, Josh Heupel, Hendon Hooker, and those boys would like a second chance. But obviously, Stetson Bennett and Georgia, very battle-tested over the past couple of years. Predict the 4 teams to make the CFP this season. You got 4 unbeatens left. Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, TCU, obviously the Buckeyes and the Wolverines set to play each other in a couple of weeks. Again, we projected Ohio State just because they'll be favored in that game. They could easily lose. Let us know what your top 4 predictions are down in the comments section. Let's get to the other New Year's 6 matchups here. The Orange Bowl, Clemson here. I almost went North Carolina because I do think they could beat Clemson in an ACC title game, but Clemson would be favored in that matchup, so I went with them. Bama will be in the New Year's 6. They obviously draw ratings, and they're going to win their last 2 games, go 10-2, so they'll be in there. This would be a fun non-CFP game, right? I mean, 2 teams that have played each other quite a bit in the playoff, playing outside of the playoff. Yeah,
that game was projected not too long ago as to be, maybe even the national championship game.
Yep.
But now it's probably going to be, it's still New Year's 6 bowl, but not the semifinal. But yeah, when you're looking at Clemson's chances to get in the top 4, they're not very good. And Bama's chances are probably done by this point.
Yeah, Clemson's problem is the ACC just stinks. They just don't have the resume. So we'll see where they end up. Sugar Bowl projection, rematch of last year, Kansas State and LSU. Now, a lot still has to happen here. Number 1, Kansas State in this scenario has to win their final 2 regular season games, which would clinch them a spot in the Big 12 championship game. If they lost that to TCU and TCU got into the CFP, by rule, Kansas State would automatically represent the Big 12 in the Sugar Bowl. LSU in this scenario would be a 10-3 team most likely. Get to 10-2, lose to Georgia in the SEC title game, and we get a rematch from one of the weirdest bowl games ever last year, but this time higher stakes in the New Year's Six.
Yeah, last year was the Texas Bowl. LSU had their entire team out with COVID. They had a wide receiver playing quarterback, so you got to know some of the guys on that LSU team last year would love a rematch with Kansas State, and we normally don't see a 4-loss team get in a New Year's Six bowl, but in this scenario, Kansas State would have 4 losses.
Yeah, and it's possible that could happen in the Big Ten if there's a crazy upset there. More games to project here, but shout out to our sponsor, Established Titles, for sponsoring today's episode of College Football Now. Established Titles is a fun and novel way to preserve the natural woodlands of Scotland. That is really their goal, to help those global reforestation efforts. This project is based on a historic Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lairds or ladies or lords in English. Title packs give you at least 1 square foot of dedicated land with a unique plot number on a private estate in Edelston, Scotland, and an official certificate with a crest. I can't wait to get my certificate in the mail. They plant a tree with every order and work with global charities like One Tree Planted and Trees for the Future to support those previously mentioned reforestation efforts. You could officially include the title of Lord or Lady on your credit card, your plane tickets, your dating profiles, etc. It makes for a great last-minute gift this holiday season. Oh, and by the way, the first 200 people purchasing a title pack using our link will effectively be next to my plot and Will Scott's plot of land as well. We can start our own chat sports kingdom in Edelston, Scotland. A bunch of subscribers have already done this, and you could be the next one. Great last-minute gift, like I mentioned. Black Friday sale ongoing right now with deals up to 80% off, and we'll give you an extra 10% off with promo code CHAT. So go to establishedtitles.com/chat, use promo code CHAT, and get your plot of land today. That way you can become a lord or a lady. And hey, Will, I hear the dating scene has gotten a little better for you since you've added Lord Will Scott to your dating profile.
You can officially put Lord on your credit card, plane tickets, dating profile. I mean,
they might put you in first class
exactly.
If you have the title Lord on your ticket. They may be like, oh, we better bump this guy up. So get going today. A link is in the comments and the description of this video. A couple more New Year's Six games, and then we'll take a look at a few other ones as well. Penn State, UCF. I'll be honest, this would be kind of the I think nationally the most who cares bowl, because the group of 5 this year just hasn't had a strong year. It's going to be a 2-loss team most likely. Maybe 1-loss Coastal Carolina makes a push to get that bid. Penn State has had a solid year for them, but clearly has been a step behind Ohio State and Michigan. If they win their last 2 games, I think they'll get a New Year's Six berth.
Yeah, I agree. Taking a look at this matchup, like you said, I think it would be the least hyped up New Year's Six bowl game. Coastal Carolina, they still have a chance.
I'm rooting for the chance, man.
Yeah, I think that'd be a little bit more intriguing to see the chance.
Because UCF has played in these games before.
Right.
Penn State, obviously. But for Coastal Carolina, that would mean a ton to that program.
Right.
To get to play in a game like this. So that's what I'm rooting for. Rose Bowl projection. The Rose Bowl doesn't have quite the lure it used to if it's not a CFP game, but I still love watching it every single year. Michigan, USC, pretty much the loser of Ohio State, Michigan's going to be in this game. Pac-12, it could be Oregon, it could be USC, it could be UCLA, a lot to play out there, but this would be a fun game. I mean, you got Michigan, maybe the best defense in the country, not named Georgia. Caleb Williams, one of the best quarterbacks in the country. It would be kind of just a tale of two styles, a more physical Michigan team against kind of a finesse, high-scoring USC team.
And just the brand names there, too.
Yeah,
Michigan versus USC in the Rose Bowl.
Yep.
That would be awesome.
That still means something, man.
For sure.
Still means something. And, hey, if you're a Michigan fan, James Yoder spearheads our Michigan Football Report channel, youtube.com/MichiganTV. He's going live every Tuesday to react to where the Wolverines are ranked, bringing you daily videos on Michigan. So go give him a follow. Go sub to him over there. All right. Thoughts on opting out of bowl games? Kind of a left turn. Are you a fan of it? Do you like it? Do you hate it? I don't think anyone's a fan of it, Will, but I think there are certain scenarios where you're like, okay, I get it.
Depends on the bowl game.
Yeah. If we get to a point where players are opting out of a CFP game, I think that's problematic. I think NIL is going to help in that regard, by the way, because these players are getting some money, but if it's the Pinstripe Bowl and a guy's a projected top 10 pick, I mean,
right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know where the line is. For me, it's for sure the CFP. Like, you can't opt out of a chance to play for a national title.
Kenny Pickett opted out of the Peach Bowl last year. Obviously not a playoff game, still a New Year's Six.
Yeah.
And his team lost.
That's tough. That is tough. You wonder, had NIL, had that been this year, would he have done that? And he's making, say, $500,000 at Pitt. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think anyone likes it, right?
No.
But in some cases.
It's situational. I don't like it, but in some cases, I understand it.
Yeah.
Now, as you can see, I never played football, but if I was a college football player, there's no shot that I would opt out of the bowl game. Yeah, there's a lot of money on the line. I can understand that, but going and playing in a bowl game one last time with your teammates, that's not something that a lot of guys would miss. But some guys, like you said, high draft picks. A lot of money on the line, and we've seen injuries happen in bowl games, so you can understand it.
Yeah, it's situational based. Subscribe to the channel. More games to break down, but CFP rankings every week, coaching hot boards. We got Auburn, Nebraska. There's a lot of buzz around the Auburn program right now. We'll see what happens there. Wisconsin, a lot of big-name programs open up. We'll continue to update those with new videos as well. Hit that subscribe button. Recruiting going to heat up in December. So this is the channel, man. November, December, with lots of college football coming your way. Will Scott and I love doing it for you guys, so make sure you guys subscribe. All right, a couple other big bowl games that could be fun. The Citrus Bowl, you look at Illinois this year. This would be a big game for them to get to play an SEC opponent of Ole Miss's caliber, a January bowl game, if you will. Illinois has a game at Michigan coming up and then one more to go, but even though it's been a disappointing couple of weeks, it's been a big year for Brett Bielema's team, and if he could get a New Year's Bowl, that would be huge for them.
Yeah, an opportunity to play an SEC team like Ole Miss. I mean, that would be a great opportunity for that team. Give Brett Bielema a lot of credit rebuilding that program and doing it pretty quickly. I think Illinois is a little bit ahead of schedule here. Still have a chance to win the West.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Alamo Bowl. Always a fun game, Big 12, Pac-12, playing in the Dome down in San Antonio. This would be a rematch, by the way. Second straight year of Oregon, never mind. A rematch from a few years ago, though. Texas did play Oregon a few years ago in the Alamo Bowl. But this would be a fun game, and these fan bases would travel. That would be a sold-out game down there in San Antonio, especially with Austin just being down the highway there. So that would certainly be a fun matchup. How about North Carolina, Florida? UNC Drake May, I think
Gators in the Gator Bowl?
To see how Drake May against an SEC defense, a future top 10 pick potentially, that'd be a lot of fun.
I think so. And Florida, can they finish the year strong?
They've played a little better as of late.
It's been a roller coaster year. Yeah, big win for them last week, so that'd be a great opportunity for that team as well. A really solid matchup, and what might be a pretty decent turnout in Jacksonville over there in Gator Country.
No doubt about it. So North Carolina, who still has New Year's 6 and maybe even CFP aspirations if crazy stuff happens, but the Gator Bowl on December 30th would still be a good result for that program. Cheez-It Bowl, and this is not the old Cheez-It Bowl. It's actually the game down in Orlando now. That shifted a couple years ago, so this is the third Big 12 tie-in after the New Year's 6 and the Alamo Bowl. Oklahoma State, Florida State. Florida State, a team that's, I think, played better than expected this year. Oklahoma State has probably played below expectations after a Big 12 title berth appearance last year, but they've had some injuries. This would certainly be a fun game in late December.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, give Mike Norvell a lot of credit. Very much on the hot seat coming into this year. They get the big win over LSU, start 4-0, kind of stumble a little bit, but they have certainly been finishing the year strong. I think that'd be a pretty solid matchup, and that's the Cheez-It Bowl, right? Not the Citrus Cheez-It Bowl.
It used to be, yes. It used to be the Russell Athletic Bowl, I believe.
Right.
Now it's the Cheez-It Bowl.
Because now we have the Cheez-It Bowl now, and we have the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. So very interesting.
There's a lot going on, man. These sponsorships, you can't keep up. All right, if your team is going bowling, type me in the comments. Producer Sam Brown can't say that yet. Oklahoma's 5-5. We'll see if they get there. So type me. 6 wins or more is what it takes. Let us know if your team is going bowling.
Very irrelevant comment by Harrison.
Shots fired.
Hey, can we say we timed that up pretty well? 18 seconds left. And yes, Kentucky's going to lose. So shout out to Sparty, who's up 6 points here. You give up 2 uncontested dunks at the end of regulation and end of overtime number 1. You deserve to lose. And Will's going to give you guys some shout outs. And here in a few moments, we should hear from the committee.
Yeah, it's about time. Robbie Dotson. We got Tony. Danger, Andrew Justice. We're in sub-only chat.
Hit the sub button.
So be sure to go down, subscribe to the channel. Just surpassed 321,000. Jermel's an LSU fan. They're going to maybe the playoffs. Stay tuned. Tony Fuentes, Danger, John Smith, Vols Football, William Brake, Danger again, Manny's World, John Smith, Pels fan, Jensen, Michael Wheatley, Andrew Justice, John Smith. Got a Kentucky fan in the chat, John Edward Kruger, Madeira, John Smith, Cassandra, Bring Shorts, Nick Fury. John Smith, not a fan of Michigan, it appears. Pistol Grip, Volunteers fan, big game for you guys on Saturday, man. Must win. Dylan Heck as well. So take me down the chat.
Calipari's a fraud, fouling down 6 with 13 seconds.
Yeah, this game's
left.
over.
That is so fraudulent by Coach Cal.
Well, you know what we said after the first overtime? Kentucky deserves to lose, and they're about to lose.
They are. And Michigan State's unranked, by the way. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're unranked, and they gave Gonzaga all they could handle.
They're going to be ranked after this week.
Yeah, last week.
Play Gonzaga to the gun and beat Kentucky here, so good for Tom Izzo and the boys. But let's go back through our mock rankings before we hear from the committee as we await this here. Top 15 here. Washington at 15, getting that big win over Oregon. That kind of keeps their Pac-12 and New Year's 6 hopes alive. Ole Miss at 14. We'll see if they can sneak into the New Year's 6. North Carolina, we've talked about them a decent amount tonight, Will. There's a path. How realistic is the path to the top 4? A lot of chaos needs to ensue over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, for sure. They need a lot of help. But you see teams like Penn State, Utah, a team like Oregon maybe. They don't really have to worry about them as long as they take care of business, but they do need teams like USC,
TCU.
LSU, probably Tennessee to lose as well.
Yeah, so Penn State, Utah, a couple of 2-loss teams in there. Oregon, 2-loss team at number 10. Clemson at number 9 here. Their path isn't as crazy as North Carolina's probably, but it's still pretty hectic. I mean, the ACC resume is not going to hold up. They're going to need some help. Alabama at number 8. USC at number 7. The resume is not there yet, Will. 0 ranked wins, but they're about to have 3 ranked opponents on the trot here with UCLA on the road this weekend, Notre Dame next week, and then a Pac-12 title game. If they win all 3 of those, that at least puts them on the committee's
Kentucky
radar
just fouled down,
in their rank.
Down
Kentucky
7
just
with 2 seconds
down
left.
7 with 2 seconds. Cal should be fired. Down 7 with 2 seconds left. That is a joke.
Down 7 with 2 seconds left, and he fouls.
What a joke. He must know that we're working overtime here. I know he's in overtime, but we're working overtime as well. Mock top 6 here. I think the top 4 is chalk. There's some speculation that TCU could jump Michigan. The resume on paper is better. We outlined that in our blind resume test earlier. But I don't know if their win at Texas is going to be enough to jump them this week. Tennessee at 5, LSU at 6. That conversation obviously going to continue to be there, Will, with obviously Tennessee having the head-to-head, but LSU getting their opportunity against Georgia here in a couple weeks in the SEC Championship.
Right. It's going to be fascinating to see what the committee does. If Tennessee wins out, Georgia's 1 losses to LSU, and LSU wins out, what's going to happen there?
The chaos. You got to love college football. Who will win the national championship this season? Let us know in the live chat. Who's going to win it all? Someone says Kentucky lost to Vanderbilt. Rough couple of days for the Wildcats. Just lost in hoops. Will Levis looks like a fraud. It's been a tough go. Who do you guys think wins it all? If you had to pick a team right now, Georgia, I mean,
it's impossible not to say Georgia.
They look like the most complete team. I mean, they've been vulnerable at times this year, but
I would say
they've ramped it up a notch.
I would say Georgia, TCU, Natty, though.
Maybe.
I would say Georgia, TCU. Max Duggan, man, is a stud.
He's a gamer, man. He's a gamer. 4-year star. I will say this. I think I'd rather play Michigan than Ohio State.
Yeah.
Just because McCarthy, I'd rather take my chances with a physical running attack than Stroud and all those NFL receivers running around.
No, I can't agree
especially
more.
on an indoor surface. That's a tall order. That's a tall order. Oh, yeah, let's get the Tom Izzo interview going, ESPN. The committee is begging to release their rankings to us, but it's not meant to be, it appears. Bring says Ohio State. Magic says TCU. Ohio State from Bring Shorts. Cassandra says Ohio State. Michigan will beat Ohio State. That's all that matters. Well, I think Michigan fans would disagree. Like, they did that last year. I think they have bigger aspirations now. Like, they finally broke through last year, beat Ohio State. If you're Michigan, shouldn't you have bigger goals than just beating Ohio State this year? Like, you should at least want to get to the national championship game. Florida State from Clint, they are not going to win the national championship. That I can promise you. Tell the people why they should subscribe to Chat Sports, Will.
Guys, we're bringing you guys a lot of college football content. We have these rankings that we reveal every week. We got coaching hot boards. Whenever a coach is in the hot seat or gets fired, we get you a hot board ASAP. News, rumors, and more. Go down, hit that subscribe button if you're all about college football.
All right, tell me what happened with Gardner-Webb. I just saw your text.
Gardner-Webb.
They covered?
Gardner-Webb is only down 6 points against UNC with 5 minutes left.
Oh, so covering machine.
Yes, covering machine.
Covering
Easy
machine.
Guys, Gardner-Webb, we got over 1,300 people watching.
Advice.
We have over 1,300 people watching. Gardner-Webb is the best-kept secret in college basketball, covering machine. They have number 1 North Carolina, a little bit nervous right now. They're easily going to cover the 22.
Oh, man.
I think these folks are college basketballed out tonight, though. They want these rankings to come out.
Come on. Let's go, committee. Come on, Boo. Get this done. And I'm saying Boo because the guy's name is Boo. I forget
Boo
his
Corrigan.
Boo Corrigan. I mean, type Boo. Type Boo in the chat. Here we go. Who will be in the top 6 tonight? Type Boo in the chat. Let's go. Let's go. Who will be in the top 6? Still sub-only chat, so if you want to get a shout-out, that's what it's going to take. You got to subscribe. Raggedy says boo. Geraldine.
ESPN
Alan,
better not be going to
Yugi,
commercial break.
The GOAT. Tony Fuentes. Madara. Darius. Old Man. Peyton. The committee was just cock-blocked by ESPN, who went to commercial break. Jeremy says boo. Forrest says boo. DJ says boo. Sam Brown, our producer, has run to the bathroom. If for every super chat that comes in, he has to take a shot. Doesn't matter how much it is, $1, $10, every individual super chat that comes in, because he just left his workstation. Every super chat is a shot for Sam Brown. Let's go. I think something happened in our Knicks watch party, Will. I hear some yelling in the other studio. Big Super over there, maybe? May have to pull that up on my phone. Give me a couple more shout-outs here, Will.
Yeah, for sure. Shout-out Dan, Mitch, Forest Bros, Vols Football, Jeremy, Pistol Grip, Robbie, all anxious for these rankings. Chill mode. Oh, got a super chat from Gabe
There's
Miller.
one.
That's one shot for Sam Brown.
One shot.
One shot for Sam. Got Stash and Dash, Robbie again, Jermel, Old Man Camping, Mikey, DV Gaming, Joseph, Stash and Cass, Sebastian, Jeremy Little, Joseph, D Blue. They're ready. They're ready.
We're all ready. We're all ready. I like college hoops, but it's November. It's college football season. Let's go. We're told here in about 2 or 3 minutes we should hear from the College Football Committee. So just a couple minutes away. Gabe sent in another one. That's 2 shots for Sam Brown. 2 shots
for Sam. Oh, Jeremy!
There's 3.
3 shots for Sam Brown.
3 shots.
3
shots for Sammy. 3 shots. Dylan Heck, he says a lot of chaos can still happen. Yeah, there's no doubt. There's no doubt about it. We still got a couple minutes here, Sam, so go get that fireball. Gabe Miller with a couple $1 soups. Appreciate. Oh, Danny, TCU will jump Michigan. TCU played a ranked team. They might. Will thinks they're going to. I'm not convinced. It could depend on if Texas is still ranked.
That might be the surprise that we see tonight.
If something surprising happens, I would say that is probably the best chance of being the case. Oh, clickbait. He might have been behind. You going to count that one? 4 shots? Sure. All right, 4 shots. We're cutting it off there, though. Shout out Jeremy Wilson, Dylan Heck. How much chaos would you like to see? I mean, I think we all love chaos, but I just want TCU to keep winning. That's all I want. Clickbait are us with $1. Appreciate it. So shout out to the real ones. Jay says TCU sucks. 10-0 is 10-0, man. Maybe they're not national title caliber. We'll see, but it's not easy to be 10-0. I will tell you that. Not everybody can be an Alabama fan. That's just not how life works. 30 seconds until the rankings are about to be released, we're told. So type me if you're ready. Sub-only chat still activated. Will's going to get some shout-outs, so type me if you're ready to go here. Come on.
Got Raphael, Jupiter, Ryan DeGritty King, Big Dog, Noah Kirk, Jeremy, Dylan Heck, Great Gaming, Noah Kirk, Gaming Wizards, Danger, Forest Bros, Danger again, Eggs and Sleeper, Tony Fuentes, Benny, Old Man Camping, The Goat, Pistol Pete, Nick Fury, The Goat again, Jeremy, Noah, William, Being Shorts, Gaming Wizard. Oh, ESPN, are they back from commercial?
We'll see.
They're showing your horned frogs, Graham.
They're
showing the frogs.
Let's go. Hey, I just sent a tweet from Maine if you want to throw out a retweet.
All right, bet.
We got Carlos Gaming, Sebastian, Chualor, Sam Brown pouring out some shots. Those are doubles, so 2 of those?
Yeah, in the interest of time and in the interest of saving time,
2 doubles?
Unlike ESPN, who can't save time to save their lives, apparently, we're going to do 2 shots at a time here to get them
Type Sam in the chat. Type Sam in the chat.
Ooh.
Let's go.
That first shot of the day always hits a little different.
First shot of the
Or
day.
should I say
Shot,
those
shot,
shots?
shot, shot, shot.
Should I say those first shots?
Everybody. Well, if our teams won't make the playoff,
Cheers.
we're gonna be partying.
We're
I'll tell you
going.
that.
We're going. We're
I'm
going to find a way.
I'm going no matter what.
We're going. I'll see you there.
I don't know if TCU may never be there again if they make it.
All
Who
right,
knows?
let's get this show going already.
Shout out to all the people typing Sam. Should hear from the committee
guys.
any moment. Shout out to the real ones. Continue to type me if you're ready for the rankings to come. And
Everybody's ready at this point.
we're ready to go. You set up for what you need to do to input these bad boys.
This has gone so late that Brett's actually back.
Oh, he's ready to go. So shout out Michigan State, Kentucky.
There we go.
For the first time. Is he on is he caught like on the same like timeline though? Oh, okay. Nice. All right, cool. You look at some of the games last week, obviously, Will. TCU beats Texas on the road, 10-0 for the first time since 2010. Washington upsets Oregon. Arizona upsets UCLA, Pac-12 cannibalizing itself like it always does. Bama beats Ole Miss, but we kind of think Bama's out of it. We can show the CFP map while we await here, but nope, here they come. They're coming in quick finally. 25-21, Cincinnati at 25. I'm surprised NC State is still ranked at 24, Oregon State 23, Oklahoma State 22, Tulane 21. That tells me Texas went from 18 to unranked.
It also tells me no Coastal Carolina. That's disappointing.
That's disappointing. And why is NC State still ranked? Now, I'm not going to
Yawn.
focus too much on 21 through 25, but, I don't know. I think Coastal should get some love here. They're a one-loss group of 5 team. Come on. Here's 21 through 25 on your screen now. Tulane 21, Oklahoma State 22, Oregon State 23, NC State 24, Cincinnati 25. That also likely means, again, Texas not ranked, so that would knock a current ranked opponent off of TCU's resume, for example. Central Florida at number 20. They move up a couple spots. Florida State up to 19. Notre Dame up to 18. Washington to 17. I thought they'd be a little higher here. UCLA down to 16. I think that's right where we had the Bruins here. So 16 through 20 from 16 to 20. UCLA, Washington, Notre Dame, Florida State, UCF. Nothing majorly surprising here, I don't think, other than I thought Washington might be a couple spots
they should be higher. An impressive win over a top 10 team on the road, and they're just up to 17.
By the way, them and Oregon have the same record.
Yeah.
Let's see how many spots apart they are. They beat Oregon on the road head-to-head. That'll be interesting. I think Oregon's overall resume is probably better, but to have a wide gap between those two. So Oregon's 12, so that's a 5-team gap now. K-State back into the top 15 at number 15 after a blowout win over Baylor. Ole Miss down to 14 after losing to Alabama. North Carolina 13. Oregon plummets. The committee clearly didn't think Washington was super impressive with Oregon plummeting to number 12. And then Penn State up to number 11. That helps Ohio State and Michigan. I'm not that impressed with Penn State personally. They've gotten blown out against the two good teams they've played this year, but that's where they sit right now.
And Kansas State at 15 at 7-3, going to be the highest 3-loss team in the country.
And their resume is pretty solid.
Yeah, probably going to the Sugar Bowl if they make it to the Big 12 championship.
Yeah, they got to win their next 2 games to secure a spot in Arlington for the Big 12 championship game against TCU, who's already clinched a spot. Texas, Baylor, and I believe Kansas still mathematically alive for that other spot in the Big 12 title game.
And that's right where he had North Carolina at 13th. So that just confirms the uphill battle they have here.
Yeah, a lot of room to go. Utah at number 10 at 8-2. Again, they're just kicking themselves at that Week 1 Florida loss. I mean, the committee clearly likes Utah. To have them in the top 10 with 2 losses, had they just beaten Florida that first night, that opening Saturday, they'd be in business. I mean, they'd be in a really good spot in the Pac-12. I don't see a path for them to get into the top 4, though, with 2 losses in the Pac-12.
Yeah, I don't either. They're out, like you said, without that Florida loss, which came down to the final seconds. They might be in the mix here.
Clemson at number 9. I think this 10 through 9 is mocked so far based on what we had it. Oh, we had Oregon at 10. That's right. Interesting. Utah 2 spots ahead of Oregon. Clemson at number 9 here, as they sit at 9-1. So still the committee, and honestly, rightfully so, in my opinion, not a lot of respect for the ACC for the most part.
No, Clemson only moving up 1 spot, and it's not as big of a hill to climb as North Carolina, but their chances to get in the top 4 are pretty unlikely at this point. They just do not have the resume. And Notre Dame's a good team, but man, that wasn't
to get
close.
Blown out like that, a team that lost to Marshall, I don't know. Bama at number 8, which is where we mocked them, but I think we're in agreement, Will. The path isn't there. They play Austin Peay and Auburn in their last 2 games, and it's a bad Auburn team. They can't get to the conference title game. They have 2 losses. 8's probably about as high as they could get. Maybe they could get to 6 or so if LSU lost, for example, but a path to the top 4 I don't think exists for the Crimson Tide.
No, and it shouldn't. And the committee, has shown them favoritism over the years, them having the brand name that they do. But no, Alabama should not have any path. And they don't have a path. They, like you said, play Austin Peay, then Auburn. They're not going to be in the SEC championship game.
So the committee going to take a few moments here before they reveal the top 7. This is usually when they take a break. Before they do that, build the drama up, of course. And perfect time to remind you guys to subscribe to the channel as we await to reveal the top 7 in the country. Will and I are going to be going live every single Tuesday night. Normally this show is going to be 5:30, 6 o'clock Central Time, 7 o'clock on the East Coast. Tonight, because of the doubleheader basketball game, we're live later, but hey, we wouldn't miss it because we want to bring you guys the latest going on with the CFP. Coaching hot boards as jobs open up. We're putting out coaching candidates that could land those jobs, recruiting rankings, all kinds of stuff that we are covering here at College Football Now. Bowl projection video that's going to go out here in a couple of days. So check all of that stuff out. Be subscribed. Don't miss any of it. In November and December especially, we really do a lot of college football coverage. So if you're a college football fan, make sure you guys subscribe. All right, so we are awaiting the top 7 here. They're actually going to go to number 1 first. That is the Georgia Bulldogs at number 1. Shouldn't really be a major surprise there, Will. They were 1 last week. They won, took care of business. Ohio State still number 2 as well.
And that's not a surprise.
No.
We knew who the top 2 were going to be. The question is, will TCU jump Michigan after they go, no, Michigan's at 3?
The answer's no.
They answer that pretty quickly,
Yep.
even after the win at Texas, TCU not moving up.
Well, and I think it's that part of that's the self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Texas no longer ranked in the committee's self-picked rankings. Maybe they don't value the win as much now. So Michigan at 3, so it's going to be chalk in the top 4. TCU will stay at number 4. They haven't announced it yet. There it is officially. TCU at number 4. So chalk in the top 4 this week. Obviously, Ohio State and Michigan will not play each other in the CFP, at least not in the first round. Maybe there's a path where they both make it, but they're going to play each other in a couple of weeks, so we will see what happens in that matchup. And then as of now, Georgia would face TCU in the 1 versus 4 matchup. The 3 teams remaining are LSU, Tennessee, who is number 5, the Tennessee Volunteers, and USC. Could USC
We'll see.
jump LSU?
I'd be very surprised.
I don't think so. Even though LSU didn't play their best game, they still beat a 5-win Arkansas team. USC played terrible Colorado. I think LSU will be 6 here, and USC will be 7. That is my prediction. Tennessee is number 5. We will see who's number 6 and number 7. Well, that's just your Lincoln Riley hate coming in. It's going to be LSU at 6. $5 real quick?
Deal.
Well,
All
the
right,
two
$5
questions we
bet.
had, could TCU jump Michigan and could USC jump LSU?
Really no
We've
major
answered the first question. TCU remains at 4, but who's going to be number 6 here as we still await?
The question is, does it matter? Maybe it does, because if USC's
does.
ahead of them with 3 ranked
I think it does.
teams to come, maybe they're saying it will be, and it's not. LSU is number 6. Sam owes me $5, and USC is number 7. So
And that's how
there
it
you
should
have
be.
it. 1 through 6. Yeah, and currently right now it should be. USC is going to have their chances. They have 3 ranked games coming up. Georgia 1, Ohio State 2, Michigan 3, TCU 4, Tennessee 5, LSU 6, and then USC coming in at number 7. No real surprises, Will. I mean, I guess a minor surprise is Oregon dropping to 12, but with 2 losses, they're not really in the mix anymore. So I don't know that it matters that much.
Yeah, and we expected it to kind of be like this because of the top 10, how that shaped out. Just one top 10 team losing this week.
We'll talk more about these rankings in a second, but hit the subscribe button like we mentioned earlier. More breakdown and analysis to come over the next several minutes, and of course we'll be live again next week. We have a bowl projections video coming out here in a couple of days, so if you want more college football coverage, I promise this is the place to be. Subscriber-only chat is on, so if you want to be involved in the chat, be sure to subscribe and answer this question. Did they get the rankings right? And we'll just say through the top 7, right? Did they get that right? I can't say they got it wrong, Will. You could debate TCU Michigan. You could debate USC LSU. I don't think anything that happened tonight was egregious, though.
I don't have a problem with anything tonight, to be honest, especially the top 10.
Except Coastal Carolina. They got screwed.
Right. Thank you for reminding me. Coastal Carolina absolutely deserves to be ranked. I feel bad for Chanticleer Nation out there in Myrtle Beach. So we'll see what goes down with Coastal next week. Maybe if they win this week, they'll get back. They'll get into the top 25. But I think LSU should be ahead of USC right now. You do mention the path ahead for USC. Probably going to play 3 ranked teams in consecutive weeks. LSU, they're going to have Georgia. So we'll see what happens there.
It's going to be interesting.
USC doesn't have to worry about LSU if LSU loses to Georgia.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll
but if
see.
they beat Georgia, sorry, USC.
It's gonna be a flurry to the finish over the next couple of weeks. Old man camping, Tony. I'm seeing mostly yeses. Tony in there. White boy saying no. Jackson State got screwed. They can't be ranked in the different level. Division? Not division. They're HBCU FCS, so they can't be ranked. But they're a damn good team.
Yeah.
You could argue they're a fringe top 25 team if they were playing FBS, but that is not the case. So appreciate you guys. Top 6 again, and then we'll take a look at some of the other teams in the mix too. Georgia number 1, Ohio State number 2, Michigan number 3, TCU number 4, Tennessee 5, LSU number 6. We'll circle back to the top 6. Let's go through the rest of the rankings, and then I want to revisit the map as well and kind of talk out through some of these scenarios. We can look at remaining schedules for some of these teams as well. Well, we got, 1,300 people hanging out. USC number 7, Bama 8, Clemson 9. Clemson, Will. I don't think Bama's a problem for them, but I think with USC having 3 ranked games coming up, Will, Clemson cannot jump USC without them losing. There's just no way.
Yeah.
They need USC to lose.
I'm with you. Yeah, they need USC to lose.
They need TCU to lose once,
Bama doesn't
if
have a
not
shot.
twice.
They need TCU to
Bama's
lose
not the
probably
problem.
twice, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, Clemson's path is so narrow. I mean, I just don't see a
They don't
world
look
where
the
they
part
get in.
either. I mean,
They really don't.
It'd be one thing if their resume sucked.
I
kind of
think UNC
part.
is going to beat him in the ACC championship.
I can see that
to be
too.
honest. I mean,
Drake May's going to put up points.
South Carolina. I know that.
No,
I promise I'm not a Gamecock fan based on my takes with
They could beat Clemson.
South Carolina, but that's a team that could beat Clemson as well.
Yeah, I could see it. Utah at number 10, Penn State 11, Oregon 12, a trio of 2-loss teams there, not really in the playoff hunt. North Carolina, the longest of long shots, but with one loss, a conference title possibility still ahead of them. Not completely dead. Ole Miss at 14, K-State at 15, Kansas State controlling their own destiny to get to the Big 12 championship game if they can win their final 2 games. 16 through 20 here, UCLA, disappointing weekend last week to lose to Arizona. Washington jumps up to 17 after beating Oregon. Notre Dame at number 18, Florida State at number 19, and then Central Florida at number 20. And then 21 through 25, Tulane, Oklahoma State, Oregon State, North Carolina State, who should not be ranked. It should be Coastal. And then Cincinnati sneaking in there as well. So for you Group of 5 fans, it's UCF, Tulane, and Cincinnati, it would appear right now. Coastal, it looks like they're going to need a lot of help, Will, if they're going to be the Group of 5
Yeah,
team.
they probably need Cincinnati to lose.
They need all those teams to lose.
They need Cincinnati to lose, Tulane to lose, and UCF. So
Yeah.
I hate to say it, that the Shots' dream making New Year's Six probably
Them
over.
not being ranked tonight.
Yeah,
Kind of.
they're ranked 23rd in the AP,
Yeah,
and
they
that's
should
where
be
Adam
ranked.
slotted. They
They're
deserve to be
9-1.
ranked. They're 9-1. That's disrespectful.
I agree. Current college football playoff map. We'll talk through a couple of these scenarios, and then we'll get out of here pretty soon. Nothing really changed at the top, Will. I think the controlled destiny category is very clear for unbeatens left in the Power 5. Georgia, TCU, Ohio State, and Michigan. If they win out, I think it's obvious. They are in. Obviously, Michigan and Ohio State play each other. If that game is crazy close, could a one-loss Big Ten team get in? I think it's possible, but I think they would then need some help, the loser of that game.
Yeah, I agree. And I think we need to change need help to need a miracle.
Yeah.
Based on just the way these rankings shaped out
Need lots
tonight.
of help.
Yeah, they need a miracle, both Clemson and UNC. UNC ranked 13, Clemson ranked 9. They need a lot of the teams in front of them, and I mean a lot, to lose. Again, it's going to be fascinating what happens if LSU beats Georgia and them having to maybe choose between Tennessee and LSU.
That LSU, Tennessee, Georgia trio scenario is very interesting.
But I also look at USC, and you made a good point earlier, the path that they have ahead. I don't think it's a big deal that they're ranked behind LSU right now, because Georgia's probably going to beat LSU.
3 straight ranked
and
wins.
USC has 3 straight ranked opponents. They win all those games. I think you can certainly make the argument that they might be in ahead of a one-loss Tennessee team.
Let's play this scenario, Will. Georgia wins out.
Okay.
Winner of Ohio State, Michigan, I don't care which.
Okay,
they win
they'd
out.
be number 2.
TCU wins out.
They're
so
number
that's
3
teams.
Okay.
USC wins out. Tennessee wins out. Does USC winning 3 ranked games to end their season jump Tennessee?
I do. I do believe that.
It would be interesting.
But Tennessee's resume
is
very strong. However,
but how much would they value the finish that USC would have gone on to?
And they'd be a conference champion. But again,
this committee seems to like the Pac-12.
The committee's job is not to pick 4 conference champions. It's to pick the 4 best teams.
But
I'm not
you have
saying
to
they've
have
consistently
criteria.
done that.
There's got to be some criteria, which there apparently is, but we know they changed the criteria for certain teams.
Do I believe that Tennessee is a better team than USC
Yes.
right now? Yes. My opinion on that might change in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But would the committee be like, do we want to give Tennessee a rematch over Georgia, who they lost to pretty convincingly, or do we want to give a USC team a shot that's won 3 straight games against ranked teams and also won their conference?
It'll be interesting.
When Tennessee didn't even win their
And
division.
by the way, let me just say this too. I think USC loses one of those 3.
I do. Oh, 100%.
They've been too inconsistent.
They might lose to
defensively.
UCLA this weekend. That's going to be a really tough game
But
for
look,
them.
they're gonna have
I mean,
opportunities.
the way that Notre Dame is playing right now, Notre Dame is one of the hottest teams in the entire country right now, the way they're playing. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, and that defense is good. Notre Dame's defense is really good. UCLA, that's going to be a shootout. You win both of those, you're playing
The
in the
Notre
Pac-12
Dame game's
title
at
game.
home, so they have that going for them at least. They don't have to go to South Bend.
Yeah. Yeah. Two rivalry games in a row, man. And then a Pac-12 title game, probably against, in this scenario, if you beat UCLA, you would probably play Oregon. I think Oregon beat USC, honestly.
Oh, for sure.
So,
yeah.
Pac-12.
USC's one loss to Utah, by the way.
I'll say this. If USC wins out, it's pretty compelling. Their resume up to this point sucks, but you finish with that down the stretch, I don't know, man.
I agree.
It's going to be interesting. Who will win the national championship this season? And then I think we're going to get out of here. You guys ready to get out of here? It's been a night. Sam's got an early wake-up call.
Thanks, John Calipari.
Yeah, shout out Coach Cal. He deserved to lose tonight. Who's going to win the Natty this season?
I think your Horned Frogs make it to the championship game, but fall to Georgia. That is my prediction.
Just get to the CFP, man. I just want a chance. Let's go.
You still have PTSD from 14.
Dude, until we get into that son of a gun, I will have PTSD. It's been a long 8 years. Georgia from Jacob, Tony, TCU, Ohio State from Silas. Hayden says Georgia. We need 8 or 16 team playoff. Well, a 12-team playoff has already been put in motion. It will either start in 2024 or 2026. So we will see what happens on that front. Ryan says TCU. If Notre Dame wins out, does that help Ohio State if they lose to Michigan? I do think it helps. Like, I'll say this, Will. If the loser of Ohio State-Michigan is Ohio State, they at least have a chance.
Yeah.
I think it's a great chance. But I think they have a chance to be that number 4 team if other things bounce their way. I think Michigan's out if they lose.
Yeah, I think just based on the non-conference schedule.
They didn't play
Ohio
anyone.
State has Notre Dame. I think Ohio State has passed the eye test a lot more than Michigan this year. I'm with you. I think if Michigan loses, they're out. It would take a miracle. Barring chaos, which it's college football. You never know.
Exactly.
So
we'll see. Plus, the loser of that game would have lost their last game and not been a conference champ.
Look, regardless of the resume, I think Ohio State has a far better resume. Whoever loses that game should be out.
Yeah.
Period.
I agree. All right, we'll end it on this. Subscribe if you want more college football coverage. Will and I will be back next Tuesday night at our normal time, 6:30 Eastern, 5:30 Central. The rankings coming out at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. We will be back then. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Thanks to Sam Brown for sticking around, working some overtime. We could not do this show without him. He is the best. Shout out Brett Scott for staying up late as well to get those ranking graphics that came in for you guys as well. We're out of here. He's Will. I'm Harrison. Appreciate you guys. Subscribe. We'll see you soon.